Hey Capricorn, this is Michael with your September 2022 reading. I do hope that this video finds you well and in good spirits as always. I have all of my links in the description box down below if you're looking for a reading or distance Reiki session with me. And I've spent some time already tuning into your energy. I actually did pull an animal card for you, and we have the fire ants. And I'm actually not super surprised to see this. It feels like there is a lot going on, especially at work or in your career. Professionally, this month could have a lot going on. And it might feel like with the fire ants, there's a lot of people who are supposed to be working together who are not working together or not collaborating. And if this isn't showing up in your workplace, this could also be showing up in your home or your family or even your friend circles. Where do we have this sort of tension? Where do we have this sort of pressure? I feel like Capricorn, you might feel like you are at the center of some sort of conflict or some sort of friction here. And it's very interesting looking at these rings of ants. I actually think of the concept of social circles and inner circles and outer circles. Who is in your inner circle? And it feels like there is some heat there with the people you are closest to or the people you spend the most time with. So there could be a lot going on in terms of miscommunications or misunderstandings or just not seeing eye to eye. And all of this makes perfect sense to me because we do have Mercury going retrograde this month. Mercury has actually entered its pre-shadow period and will be going retrograde on September 9th. And Mercury will retrograde in the sign of Libra, which for you specifically pertains to your career and your public image and your role in the world at large. So there really is a lot about how you are being perceived and received by others, especially in very public spaces. And there might be a bit of conflict or tension that is coming to the surface here as well. I do also see with Mars in Gemini, and Mars is going to be in Gemini for many months and will actually be going retrograde at the end of October. There is this possibility, again, in that part of the sky for you, to have conflict or even like enemies or nemesis. And it's like people you're supposed to be working together with. This almost reminds me of Five of Wands energy, petty arguments, petty conflict. What are the messages that we have for Capricorn? Show us clearly, please. What are the messages we have for Capricorn? And this can be for sun, moon, or rising sign, or you're welcome to watch this video for somebody else. I, again, have all of my links in the description box down below. If you're also looking for the decks that I we are using the Star Spinner Tarot. You can find links for those as well. Anyway, we have the Hermit card in reverse coming out first here. I almost wonder if there's been situations that you've been hiding from because of this kind of social dynamic. And maybe there isn't just one area of your life where there is tension. And I think you're becoming very aware of these things. It's almost like the tension or the conflict is now starting to affect a very important part of your life this month. I'm getting that vibe. And I feel like maybe you've even been retreating at home or with your friends or with the people who are closest to you, and there could potentially be some disruption there as well this month with the 10 of Cups. But ultimately, this is making you face whatever it is that you're avoiding. And I do feel like there is a need to collaborate. We do also have the Devil card here in reverse, and this is your card, Capricorn, because the Devil rules over Saturn, and Saturn is your ruling planet. And I think some of you are actually breaking bad habits. Some of you are also cutting out toxic people, people that you have kept close. And relationships that have been dysfunctional might be relationships you are pulling away from. And you may not necessarily leave these relationships, but you might just distance yourself from them. Give yourself some space, give yourself some time to cool off. And with the new moon in Pisces, this is happening on September 10th, there really is a lot of focus for you on relationships, but also the way that you communicate specifically. And there could be a lot of epiphanies. It could be like, oh, all of a sudden I see everything. I see the patterns for what they are. I see my relationships for what they are. And this is compounded even more by the fact that this full moon in Pisces is coming together with the planet Neptune. It's almost like a bubble is being popped, or there is this conclusion to something that has been hidden, or something that we've even hidden from ourselves. And whatever it is that you've hid from yourself, Capricorn, I feel like you are seeing pretty head-on, and it's actually being reflected back at you in your external reality. I do feel like there's quite a bit of tumult in this group, which is interesting. We have the Five of Cups in reverse as a challenge. I feel like you're having a very hard time moving forward. There's a lot of grief, a lot of loss. There actually is a Tower card here as well, which is quite interesting to me, because the Tower can represent some sort of major ending or major collapse of some kind. And it's almost like, what's the phrase? Colony collapse? When colonies of insects just break down and no longer function. I do also see the fire ants as a death spiral, and there's a few different meanings for this term, especially depending on the animal we're talking about. Often when I talk about the death spiral, it's with the bald eagle, which is its mating ritual. But with ants specifically, as you may know, they release pheromones. And every once in a while, something happens with ants where there's this kind of mistake in the pheromones, and there's this circular trail that is made. And this actually causes a whole colony or a whole bunch of the ants to circle and following this pheromone trail that's actually leading nowhere. And they use these trails normally to lead each other to food, to lead each other to sources or resources. But it's almost like there is a death spiral. And it feels like there is a whole group of people here who are impacted by something. It's interesting because I feel like it's almost like you want to save people. You want to save people from this fate, but it's almost too late. And that's kind of what this Tower feels like to me. The Queen of Coins. And this is your card. Another one of your cards here. You want to be the nurturer. You see the bigger picture. You want to make sure that everyone's needs are being met. And the King of Swords. Another one of your indicator cards, especially if you are kind of on the cusp of Aquarius, or in the last 10 degrees of Capricorn with your sun, moon, or rising. You have to let them learn. That's something interesting that's coming in. You have to let them learn their lesson. You can't give them their wisdom. They have to learn something. Yeah, and you feel kind of powerless to that with the Hanged Man here. What do you need to do, Capricorn? What do you need to do? What does Capricorn need to do this month? Let me pull another animal card, actually. What does Capricorn need to do this month? I had the rabbit pop out. Some of you are just so paralyzed or feeling stuck, and there's often a lot of fear with this card, and it reminds me of the Tower. If you feel like you're stuck or don't know what to do or just feeling overwhelmed, the rabbit is a message to listen and to become very present and to ground. And maybe this looks like literally going outside and spending time in a park or in nature and just listening to the world around you. And that can be listening to the birds, listening to the wind, listening to the animals, listening to the cars or the planes that go by, and just becoming very, very present. This is a form of meditation called open monitoring meditation or open monitor meditation, where you are just taking in the world around you and becoming very present and mindful in that way. I do feel like it's important for you to take some time to yourself, maybe even take a day of silence is something that this card suggests, and really, really listen. What else does Capricorn have? Starfish. Some of you feel stuck, or you see other people who are stuck. It's almost like there is this fate that you're trying to avoid, and this could be showing up in your relationships, this could be showing up with your significant other, but I'm actually getting more like friend group or, co-workers or even family. Those are the relationships I'm really feeling these dynamics come up in, especially if you have siblings. There could be something going on with siblings as well, where it's almost like you're biting your tongue, which is interesting for Capricorn because you're not usually the type to do that. Usually you say your piece, and maybe you have already done that, but it hasn't been effective. And it's like, why is my communication not getting across to people? In part, Mercury is retrograde. Again, that is something that's important to keep in mind. And when Mercury retrogrades back into the sign of Virgo on the 23rd, there really could be this reflection that you are doing, and it's almost like making you question your worldview a little bit, which is interesting. And what else do we have? What else do we have? I don't think it's that one. What else do we have? The Unicorn. This card has been coming up so much lately. The Unicorn represents the third eye. It represents piercing through the veils, seeing the truth for what it is. And with this card, I'm really thinking of what's happening towards the middle of the month when the sun in Virgo is opposite Neptune in Pisces. Kind of similar to the full moon on the 10th. This is almost like a reality check energy, or like a truth coming into the light in almost an uncomfortable way. I think it's very important that you meditate. I really want you to do some silent meditation or just sitting in silence and connecting with your intuition. I feel like some of you have been in a situation where you've been trying to help other people involved, whether this is your friends or coworkers, or you tried to be the one to make something better. But I think you're realizing that there's only so much you can do in this situation. And it feels like you're abandoning people in need. But it's almost like you can't help everyone. The tower is falling here. And it's very important that you're taking care of yourself as well, because I'm going to be honest with you, Capricorn, your energy feels very taxed this month. And it's important that you're putting your energy towards things that are productive to you. I want to pull some cards just for the end of this month when we have a new moon in Libra. Tell me more about this tower and the new moon. We have the Seven of Coins. I feel like there is this new kind of commitment to your future. This could look like looking for a new job or just thinking about your future, coming up with a long-term plan. or revising your plans. Because when I look at the Seven of Coins and the Tower, it's almost like you've been putting your energy or resources into things that aren't working for you, and now that something is falling apart, or something feels very fragile, or like you are collapsing under the pressure of this, it feels like there is this new thing that is coming through that. Ordinarily, new moons do represent new beginnings, and it feels like over the next 6 months, until we have a full moon in Libra in Aries season, so spring of 2023, there's a lot that could be changing, and you're really figuring out, how do I spend, where do I put my energy? How do I spend my time? How do I spend my resources? And that could be both material or emotional. Tell us more about this new moon. Tell us more about this new moon. There's a Three of Swords that's kind of popping out here. Wow, there really is this sense of betrayal. Or just this sense of heartbreak. What is going on with my Capricorns here? What is going on with Capricorn? Show us clearly, please. The Hierophant. There's a lot with spiritual wisdom here, and this makes a lot of sense with all of the Virgo energy that we are in. Some of you could be learning from a teacher or learning online about certain practices or belief systems. You could be doing some sort of ritual as well. Again, meditate. There is a very spiritual connotation to this tower with the Hierophant here. Some of you are literally having your crown chakra blown open. What is going on? The Devil with the Ten of Swords. Yikes. I'm always very real on this channel. I don't sugarcoat things when I get a hard reading, and this is definitely a harder reading. I feel like there's this betrayal. Where is this betrayal coming from? Where is this betrayal coming from? Show us clearly, please. Where is this betrayal coming from? Where is this betrayal coming from? I almost get the sense, like, with the expression, you sold your soul to the devil. It's like you were waiting for something, you gave yourself to something, and maybe this just has to do with your approach to life at large, where it's like, if I put in this energy now, it will pay off later, but it feels like there hasn't been a payoff. And that might not come. And that's where there's this sense of betrayal. If some of you are also collaborating with people, or, you know, doing something that's requiring communication between companies, I know this sounds really, really specific, but if there's something about, like, collaboration between two companies or businesses, there could be something that falls through there as well. The Seven of Swords in reverse. What is this betrayal? Whatever is happening here, justice will be served. Karma will be served. I don't know if this will happen immediately, to be honest, but I'm just getting this sense that you are being wronged in some way, and you need to be very careful. Maybe for some of you this is avoidable, but I think a lot of you kind of know, if you're in this situation, what is going on, who this group of people are, who these group of people are. Here, the Five of Coins. Again, I don't know who this is, but it feels like these messages are just circling. It's like these people were supposed to help me. This situation was we were supposed to help each other. And I keep thinking of this death spiral. And it's almost like the harder you try to make things right, the deeper the dagger goes. And it almost feels messy to leave a situation or leave a relationship as things are. Like you want this closure. But it will almost hurt you more to keep trying to interact with these people. And I think you've really tried to isolate yourself, or maybe you have been isolated by a group of people as well, and you haven't allowed yourself to branch out. Are some of you stuck in a situation, because the Tower might actually represent your prison falling apart. And whatever situation is falling apart does feel pretty imprisoning to me. And it still feels hard. And a lot of people don't understand that. I'm almost getting the sense, this might sound a little bit dramatic, but it almost feels like there is this truth, or there is something that you are finally coming to terms with that is making it feel like your reality is falling apart a little bit. I need to pull some oracle cards. What do we do with this? And I'm also going to pull a color healing card as well, because this energy feels pretty intense, and I want to give you some tools to work with the energy this month. No. Okay. What is the messages for Capricorn? What are the messages for Capricorn? Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Show us clearly, please. What are the messages for Capricorn? Hierophant, longing for home, homesickness for the stars. I love this word and this concept. It is actually, I believe, a Gaelic or Welsh word. I'll read this in a moment, but it's basically longing for a place that you can no longer return. And it's like you're trying to find this sense of home. You've been looking for this home, and it's like every place you look, it feels like it just crumbles. And I think that's why there's just this big earthquake for you. Let's read this here. Hierophant is a Welsh word that's difficult to translate, but it refers to a certain longing or homesickness, a yearning for a home or place to which we cannot return. This inexplicable, unshakable longing for home is common in starseeds and on old souls. Perhaps you've had it since birth. For some, it's a distant memory of a planet, galaxy, or star system in the universe that their soul remembers and yearns to return to, a place they may have experienced more than Earth. For others, it is a longing for the unity of Source, a remembering of the interconnected oneness. This yearning can lead some starseeds to travel, searching all corners of the planet to find a physical place that feels more like home. For others, it can manifest as a need to find home in people, communities, and relationships. A journey to find somewhere you truly belong. If you resonate with this yearning for home, but don't really know where home is, you're being invited to remember that your soul chose to be on Earth. You're being called to fully commit to embodying your life. You're being reassured that you didn't come here alone, and that your soul consciously decided to experience what it's like to be a soul in a human body on this planet at this time. You're being called to anchor all of your presence, your personality, your soul, and your spirit in the here and now, to fully commit to living this life right now, to commit to putting 2 feet completely in. How can you commit more fully to your life? And it's almost like you've committed to everyone else but yourself, Capricorn. And you've done this really trying to feel this interconnectedness, trying to fill this void in you, this longing. And it's almost like you're supposed to be a home for other people, and you've tried to do that. But it hasn't been for the right people. Let's pull a color healing card for you now. What are the color healing messages we have for Capricorn? I'm going to read this again from the book, but you are welcome to utilize these colors in any way your intuition sees fit. What are the color healing cards for Capricorn? Show us clearly. I knew this card was coming out for you. We have black. Find richness from the dark night. Okay, so we are going through a bit of a dark night of the soul here, and I think ultimately with the Tower and the Hierophant, it's like whatever is falling away is causing you to very profoundly speak, or I'm sorry, maybe it is speak, but profoundly seek something. You are seeking for something greater. You're looking for deeper meaning in your life. There's a very existential crisis that comes from this, but you are being cracked open in a way that's actually quite beautiful as well. And maybe this black color can help you see that. Black is a color of protection, strength, and retreat. A gateway to new experiences and a test of strength and resolve. Many people experience the dark night of the soul in order to gain wisdom and emerge for the better on the other side. Black dissolves the old so you can welcome the new. Receive divine wisdom and the gifts that have been buried deep inside you with the help of the black ray. At some point in your life, everybody experiences the dark night of the soul. Give yourself permission to connect to the black ray so it can guide you to the gifts that lie in shadow. Visualize yourself in darkness and ask for the divine wisdom to show you what you need to learn from the shadow. Receive its gifts to strengthen your faith. Say, Divine Spirit, infuse me with the strength, wisdom, and courage to connect to and learn from the shadow aspect of myself. So ultimately, whatever it is that's falling away, it's also causing you to do your shadow work and really reflect, well, how did I line up with this experience? How did I end up in this situation or relationship? And again, it feels like you are being cracked open. I'm hearing sirens outside, which is sometimes a sign associated with Archangel Michael. I feel like you are being very opened to spirit right now. And I want to recommend the book, Dark Night of the Soul by Thomas More. It really beautifully unpacks what it means to go through a dark night of the soul. It's basically this existential hardship that helps you find much deeper beauty and deeper meaning in life if you allow it to occur. I am nearly out of time just looking at this timer. I kind of hate to leave you here, but it seems like we have gotten through all the messages we can for this month. I'm sending you all the blessings and love that I possibly can. Feel free to book a Reiki session or just a personal reading with me on my website. Reiki might help you work through whatever sort of energetic intensity you are experiencing this month. If you'd like other messages or greater clarity on something, you are more than welcome to check out the videos for your moon or rising sign. I'm sending you all my love again, Capricorn, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.